Hey guys, welcome to all of your recordings. Today I'm comparing the iPhone 4S to the iPhone 6. I just want to see how out of date this 4-year-old iPhone really is. Alright, so let's get started. First things first, the iPhone 4S, this came out in 2011. The iPhone 6 came out in 2014. The iPhone 4S, when you first bought this phone, it was an iOS 5 device only. But it can now be updated to the iOS 9.2, which is the new Apple software. The same thing that the iPhone 6 and the 6S also has, which is really impressive for a phone of this age. Came out going on 5 years now, and it can still be updated to the new software, which is really impressive. Starting with the iPhone 4S, it's a 3.5-inch display diagonally. It also has a Retina display. iPhone 6 also has a Retina display coming in at 4.7 inches diagonally. Pixel density on the 4S is 960 by 640, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but compared to a TV, you obviously on a TV you want the 4K 1080p because that's a much farther screen you're looking at, so you're going to noticeably see the pixel density. But on a phone or something you hold close to your face, it's really not that noticeable. So that's really good for what it is. The iPhone 6 is 750 by 1334 pixels, which has a bigger display, so it's expected. They both have 8 megapixel cameras. They both have the LED flash. The 4S shoots 1080p at 30 frames per second, while the iPhone 6 shoots 1080p at 60 frames per second. The color options for the iPhone 4S is only white and black. That's all you're gonna get for the 6. So you can get the space gray, which is this model right here. It's has a black front. It's the only one with the black front, and the back here is known as space gray, which is like a dark silver color. The other options are silver, which has a silver backing and a white front, and the last option is gold with a white front. Now for capacity, the 4S has 16 gigabytes, 32 or 64. The iPhone 6 is only 16 or 64 gigabytes. The weight of the devices, the iPhone 4S comes in at around 5 ounces, and the iPhone 6 is 4.5, but it feels so much lighter. This is more fragile than the iPhone 6, even though it doesn't feel that way because this has a lot more weight. The iPhone 6 is much lighter, but this is an all glass display, meaning the whole front here is glass and the whole back of the device here is glass. So if you drop it, it's going to shatter or most likely crack on you, which is, having this phone, you pretty much have to treat it like jewelry. It's very, very fragile. The side here is aluminum bezel around the whole device, which looks really nice. I've always been a huge fan of the way the iPhone 4S is designed. Talk time was up to 8 hours on the 4S, and it's on 14 hours for the iPhone 6, which is a 4G phone. This is a 2G and 3G phone. Also, this is much thinner than the iPhone 4S, which is impressive. But I know the camera on the back, if you can see, it sticks out much farther than on the iPhone 4S, which is pretty dumb. I think that's not the best design. The camera has a lot of improvements, but I don't know why Apple always feels like they got to go thinner and thinner every year on their devices. I'd much rather have it a little bit thicker and have a better battery life, but that's just me. So video playback is 10 hours for the 4S, and it's around like 11 hours for the iPhone 6. Audio is 50 hours for the iPhone 6 and 40 hours for the iPhone 4S, which is both really impressive. But the odds of you getting that great time is rare unless you just use the phone for strictly music or audio. That's it's very unlikely to get those numbers because obviously it's your phone, so you're going to be using it for talk time. You're going to be talking on the phone for 2 hours, and you're going to listen to music for a few hours and be browsing the web. So batteries don't really last that long. For the prices, you can get an iPhone 4S for 180 bucks, which is still a really good deal. And iPhone 6 is 550 to like $600 off eBay. That's not even including the contract you would get. I'm not sure. It might be cheaper if you go to AT&T. There might be a deal where it might be free and you just gotta pay for the contract, or they might not even offer it anymore because it's so old. Now, the iPhone 4S, when this first came out, it was a big deal because Siri pretty much was the very first of its time. This had Siri on it, and now it just blew up from there. Another thing about this phone is it has a lot of nice features on it, like you can slide down from the top down right here for notifications. That was a new thing as well. But one of the things, the iOS 9 and models that came out ahead of this one, you can slide up right here and you can adjust the brightness of the display. You can adjust the volumes, the songs, airplane mode, Wi-Fi, that's Bluetooth, do not disturb. So if you're watching a movie or something, or if you're taking a nap or whatever, you can hit that do not disturb button. And what it'll do is you'll still get a call, but it won't vibrate your phone or it won't ring. But if you look at your phone, it'll say someone's trying to call you, and it'll still say who called. This is a locking device, so if you turn it over, it won't flip. You get a flashlight, compass, calculator, and the camera. So that's really cool because before, when this phone first came out, you had to actually go to the settings to general and then actually customize it yourself and then go through all this. So it's nice that they added that. They both have a SIM card slot right here on the side. They're both worldwide phones. You can use them anywhere, which is really nice. But that's one of the things I love about Apple is how you don't have to buy the new phone every single year like you see a lot of people doing, waiting in these long lines. It's really not necessary. If you're not into technology as much, honestly, I would stick with this phone. I'd keep it until you can't have the latest software update, which I'm pretty sure this will probably be the last one. I'm surprised you can even have iOS 9 right now. There's no way it's going to get iOS 10 or 9.5. I highly doubt it. iPhone 6 does have the fingerprint here, which is nice. So if you want to purchase an app or unlock your phone instead of typing in the passcode, you can just hold your finger there and it'll unlock it for you. The back of this device here, it's like I said, it was very thin, but this it's all glass in the front. On the back here, it has this like a all aluminum, which I'm not the biggest fan of. I think it looks very boring. I prefer the iPhone 5 design. I like how this was aluminum, but the top here and the bottom was glass. I think that looked nicer. But overall, it is a very nice, sleek, and refined design. On the front of the devices, on the very top, we get the front-facing camera, which they both have a improved face detection. On the top, we have the noise cancellation and the speaker. On the bottom, we got the home button. This is much more simple on the iPhone 4S, just a button. On this one, you don't have that little square icon anymore because now it has the fingerprint. On the bottom here, we have the speaker, one big speaker on this side, the lightning cable, the little microphone, or the little mic, and we got the headphone jack here. On the iPhone 4S, we have the speaker on the right side, the mic on the left side, and then we have the old little charging port right there. On the left side, we got the volume controls and the lock and unlock switch. Same on both of the phones, only this is more refined and a lot thinner. On the top of the old one, this is where you find your headphone jack, the mic, and the sleep wake button. On the left side, you have the power button for the iPhone 6 and the SIM trays for both phones. The iPhone 6 is much thinner and taller and wider. I guess some of the problems with these phones are the on the iPhone 4S, it was the all glass on the front and back, which made it very fragile. So that was probably one of the major issues with this phone. Also on the top here, I noticed the home wake button doesn't work. I'm not sure what happened on that, but it just stopped working. But it is I guess, a common problem. I don't know if it's very common, but I'm not the first person that had this problem. And I tried to get it fixed, but since the phone was so old, they told me it would just be cheaper to just go ahead and get a new phone. On the iPhone 6, it's very, very thin, and the camera does stick out quite a bit. So, I mean, when you buy it, it just pretty much screams put a case on me because it sticks out so much to where you're gonna want to put a case on. Even though the lens covering the camera is like a sapphire, so it doesn't scratch as easy. But it's still nice to have a case on here because it is very fragile as well. The front is all glass and it will crack. I guess when the phone first came out, even still today, a lot of problems with the whole bend gate situation because these phones will bend. I don't think it's as common as people say it is. Obviously, if you try to bend it, it's gonna bend. But if you just put it on in your pocket and just do a day's work, you shouldn't have a problem with it. I never had a problem with the whole bend situation, but I guess it does happen. So that concludes the comparison video for the iPhone 4S with the iPhone 6. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video.